And it's Ret Paladin time! Hell yeah! Pre-patch style! Red is in a weird state right now on the pre-patch server, but fret not.
What in the fuck are you doing, man? Ret Paladin? You? Get the fuck out of here.
No, not this time, man. No. Get away. Wait! As I was saying, Ret Paladin is a super fun DPS to play and it's putting out decent numbers. It takes a bit more to actually understand what's going on under the hood, so stay tuned for the talent, Azerite essences, rotation and more in this pre-patch guide for the Holy Crusader. Yeah, better get used to seeing my face on a Rev video. Hey, you like our videos, huh? Well, you can also subscribe and enable those notifications so we know how much you like our videos. And if you don't, that's cool too. Just show us how much you disagree with us by hitting that subscribe button and bell thingy. Right on. We have right now 2 videos on Ret Paladin when it comes to Shadowlands changes, and we won't go too deep into the unpruning since the feelings are mixed and it's hard not to feel shafted by Blizzard right now. There are a few things that are still worth mentioning that at least work, or don't, on the pre-patch. First, Hammer of Wrath is baseline but cannot be casted during Avenging Wrath until level 58 when you learn the rank 2 of it, aka until Shadowlands releases and you can level. Yeah, it's wonky as fuck. It makes sense from a new Paladin leveling perspective, but you who has been playing Red so far, it feels like you lost something to only get it back as a leveling perk. And this trend can be seen throughout most of the unpruning Red received. Red Aura and Crusader Aura are some of the best examples where instead of passives you had active all the time, they are now auras.
I sure wish we get some of the good old stuff back. Maybe auras. Auras were cool.
Here, champion. Use these.
But I already have these as passives in BFA.
Yeah, but not in Shadowlands. So rejoice and thank me for unpruning your spec.
But this isn't really...
Just go and be pink.
So yeah, that plus other flavory things have come back that are either useless, aka Shield of the Righteous, or extremely situational, aka Turn of Evil, or Consecration Aura.
What in the fuck are you doing, man?
Either way, these spells hardly offer any retribution death, but mostly serve to give you a more complete paladin feel instead. More stuff isn't bad, but the right stuff would be better. Wake of Ashes is baseline though, and this is a pretty good change and a good example of some of the good unpruning, although it's not really an unpruning. It's a 3 holy power generator that does very high single target damage but also hits other nearby enemies, its damage scaling down per target the more you actually hit. Blessing of Sacrifice is now available for Red to compensate, I guess, for the loss of kings and wisdom, because Blizzard giveth with one hand and taketh with the other. Or so is the subtitle of the new movie that's coming out called Ret Paladin Pre-Patch, Where the Fuck Is My Shit? It also works to funnel damage from your tank into your Shield of Vengeance for damage output, aka Touch of Karma, but the red variant. Other than this, Consecration is baseline to fill in a global when everything else is on cooldown or not available. Turn Evil might have uses in 8.3 due to the sheer number of aberrations, although hardly a noteworthy ability. For now, anyway. Word of Glory has been reworked into a baseline single target heal that eats 3 holy powers still. Don't need to talent it anymore, but it's not AoE either. Other than this, what you will notice is the target cap in AoE, where Divine Storm hits 5 targets instead of unlimited number of targets. This happened for most specs, but you would think Beast Mastery would give a shit. Some abilities are not capped, that, Wake of Ashes for instance being one, Consecration another, and more on that later in the video. For better or worse, a lot of the big talent rows are fairly balanced and the best build will mostly rely on what sims best for you. So check those raid bots! However, I will talk about 2 builds I had fun with and have simmed pretty good, one that's easier to play, and one that's, well, not, but more fun, which also takes you through the new talent changes until we get a more defined meta at level 60. First row, for the easy build you have two options depending on the content you do. Righteous Verdict would be the single target option to pump some damage into your Templar verdicts, easy to manage, no stress, just play. Zeal would be the AoE alternative. Seems a bit higher, at least for me, so it's mostly up to you how you want your damage profile to be. For the more complex and fun build, Execution Sentence is your go-to. The talent changed and now offers a small window where you can build damage towards a great finisher that will explode high priority targets like bosses. Super freaking cool. On the second row, the single target option is Blade of Wrath, it seems. It's an easy pick, makes the rotation feel nice since the proc rate is pretty high, as pointed out by multiple informed sources and actual gameplay testing. Imperium Power is the Azurite trait literally made into a talent to replace the empty slot from getting Hammer of Wrath baseline. This is a smaller proc chance but does pay off in longer mythic keys where the fights last a bit for the numbers to even out. In the end. Next up is the crowd control role, which you can decide for yourself what you want to play. Personally, I like to take Blinding Light for those AoE interrupts on casts and channels and stuff, but you know, you do you. Similar on the next row, Unbreakable Spirit can help out with more defensives and some DPS output if you use it for your Shield of Vengeance for its damage proc, or Cavalier for the mobility. Cause goddamn hotcakes! After starting to play Ret more, I get Marcelian. I know why he has gray hair now. The level 40 row has again all options viable. Divine Purpose is the simple option for procs that can reduce downtime and add a bit of excitement to your rotation. Seraphim would be the advanced version, which requires some practice to pull off. I am still working on perfecting the rotation, but it feels incredibly satisfying to align all of the spells into one big chunk of damage. On the 45 row, it's between Selfless Healer and Healing Hands. Personally, I prefer to play the Healing Hands one because the global effectiveness of casting a Word of Glory provides more healing without as much build-up as Selfless Healer. The downside is it eats Holy Power, aka damage. The upside is that you don't need 4 finishers to make it instant and heal competitively with Word of Glory. So it's down to you once again. And lastly, for the level 50 row, all options are viable once again. The simple build sees Crusade for single target performance, something which might not surprise you very much, and Sanctified Wrath for AoE performance, although not 100% viable. The damage procs are not capped in AoE, yay. So it could be an incentive to play there, but the duration does not stack with Light's Decree, the Azurite trait, so you could say you are not getting the full effect out of it. For the new build, the new talent, Final Reckoning, is your choice, and by gosh darn it, it feels so good that it has uncapped AoE as well. And most likely you will combine it with Execution Sentence for some serious single target damage, as well as since they both align with their cooldowns. 1 minute each. When it comes to stats, we defer back to Simming. Red has had close secondary stats in terms of relative power to each other, and usually eye level, aka strength, trumps them all, especially after the diminishing return on the secondary stat that we now have. This might mean that a balanced distribution would be even better once you reach the 35% mark for each one. But again, sim. For reference, however, if you play the simple build, all reliable, strength would be numero uno, followed by versatility and crit, which are pretty close to each other, and haste mastery close as well, but more to the bottom. For the Execution Sentence, you still want strength first, but crit will be higher and maybe even equal. Not for me, but it's getting there. Follow it up with versatility and you are golden. Haste and Mastery still at the bottom, probably because you get a lot of these two from Azurite and Talent anyway. For the consumables, you will keep to the stat priority mentioned earlier. For a more simple, no stress list, you can still enchant your weapon with Deadly Navigation to be viable for both builds. A Court of Critical Strike will be your ring enchant, and the Deadly Lava Lazuli gems for your sockets. This should assure your crit needs. The flask should be the greater flask of the Undertow, because, you know, main stat is good again. And for the food, you can either go with McDowell's Big Mac for crit, or a simple feast for the main stat buff, because main stat is good again. I said that already, but that's because it's important, okay? Azurite and Essence is kind of split between two builds as well, although for me I had to sim to realize that the differences were pretty small and the end result pointed toward a combination of all of them, so you know, play what you like and enjoy the pre-patch to its full. The simple build still sees 1 Light's Decree, 1 Imperium Power, while the rest are filled with Avenger's Might. For any missing pieces or remaining slots, Relentless Inquisitor and Heart of Darkness would be the go-to, especially after Heart of Darkness has been changed to not require you have Corruption anymore. The Execution Sentence build still has 1 Light's Decree, but prefers 3 Expurgation traits, solidifying a more single-target approach. Imperium Power and Avenger's Might can fill in the rest, or other stat traits like Heart of Darkness will work as well. For the normal build, get Vision of Perfection Major, same as before, which seems pretty good. Minors should be between Conflict and Strife, Crucible of Flame, and Breath of the Dying. At least that's what sims the best for me. It's a solid setup, but feel free to try out what you think or like to play with that can perform well as well. Or sim. God damn it, I'm so tired of telling people to sim. When will it end? The Execution Sentence prefers more cooldowns that you can bake into those high octane windows, kinda like the old Fire Mage. Blood of the Enemy should probably be the best major, although Memory of Lucid Dreams sims the best for me. To be fair, Memory of Lucid Dreams sims the best for all builds I attempt, so up to you which one you will go for. The minors are most likely the same with Conflict and Strife, Crucible of Flame, and Breath of the Dying. If you don't use it as a major, you can also sim Lucid Dreams as a minor. Oh boy, red rotation seems pretty straightforward, but listen, we will keep it a bit on the simple side for this video, especially since pre-patch is wonky, but we would strongly recommend checking Skeletor's website for some real ass depth into maximizing your DPS during your rotation. As such, the simple build follows a simple priority in maximizing holy power generation. Wake of Ashes trumps all as long as you don't waste the holy power. Blade of Justice would be the number 1 for this, followed by Hammer of Wrath, then Judgment, and lastly Crusader's Strike. Consume the holy power with Templar's Verdict in single target and Divine Storm on 2 or more enemies. Other than this, the obvious remains. Don't cap holy power, try not to keep your generators off cooldown for too long. Managing RNG procs will also add some variety to your button pressing. The complex build has some setup for proper performance. First, you want to build to 5 holy power following the generator priority we just showed. Pop Seraphim here. Build back to 5 holy power without Wake of Ashes. Pop Wings and Final Reckoning, then activate Execution Sentence. Only after use Wake of Ashes. Use as many Templar Verdicts as you can before Execution Sentence finishes its cooldown, and use Blood of the Enemy 5 seconds before for the maximum amount of damage to fall from the heavens and make salty nerds cry out nerfs. The purpose of this rotation is to maximize the damage during Execution Sentence. So, practice makes perfect! We want to shout out the Hammer of Wrath Discord for the cohesive information that they work towards and put out, and even help nerds like me understand the spec within their chat system. Bolas has written a Wowhead guide on Red for pre-patch with a few more explanations, while Skeletor's website is the motherfucking encyclopedia on Retribution. Both links in the description. And of course, a special thank you to our patrons for supporting our content, our channel, our stream, and everything that we do. We super appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. And if you are interested in supporting us a little bit more, because you know it's not required, but it does help out, the links are down into the description. You can see our patrons with some goodies that you might like, or maybe even merch, because yes, we have some cool ass graffiti style designed t-shirts, hoodies, and all that kind of good jazz. So thank you for watching the video, stay awesome, and we'll see you next time.
I've been loving it then, I still love it now. Still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. Getting better every day, let me show you how. Cause still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. It's getting harder to stay, but at the end of the day, it's a guilty pleasure, so just log in and play. Whether it's classic or retail, I'ma do a /bow. Still, I play WoW.